So they understand that it will look really bad if they do not lean in to saying that they really do want Kamala, but even that feels a bit performative to me, and I'll tell you why.
So Candace Owens has been a little quiet. She had the public issue with Ben Shapiro. She went back to her regular YouTube channel that she always had, and now she is back. Candace Owens drops bombs on Kamala Harris's history.
So they understand that it will look really bad if they do not lean in to saying that they really do want Kamala, but even that feels a bit performative to me, and I'll tell you why. Because I'm starting to see articles creep out, and they seem like attacks on Kamala. Again, if we can go into our time machine and go back to 2020, well, every time that someone tried to interject the truth about Kamala, which is that she slept her way to the top, it's a fact. She was with some 6-year-old man, got her start in the political career, and they would go, oh my gosh, how dare you say this? That's so sexist. Well, then suddenly on July 6th, the Daily Mail actually published a headline about the fact that Kamala Harris was, thoughting through life. And they basically said she got her political start, her political upstart, because she was dating this guy, Willie, can't think of his last name right now.
Willie
and
Brown.
He was married, and he was in his 60s, and Kamala Harris was just a spring chicken, and that is how she entered the political scene. So she was not somebody who was a part of their ecosystem, but they tapped her in 2020 because they were like, oh, like the thing that we always say is that look at the Republican Party, it's so white and there's no diversity. And how are we going to be able to say that if we're running Joe Biden, who has been extraordinarily wealthy his entire life and whose son is becoming extraordinarily wealthy while smoking crack simply because he's doing dirty deals in Ukraine? So what are we going to do? We're going to hire Kamala Harris. We're going to select Kamala Harris to be the vice president. And he's the only person I can think of. And then we can sell. I know that when she was sworn into Congress, she was talking about how she's an Indian, but we'll just sell the people, like, forget the Indian side. Like, now she's back to black. And the streets are talking, ha, 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 ha. And that's what they did. So that is the only reason that Kamala Harris, they literally did not have another person that they felt could be the vice president and allow them to use the isms. You don't like her, you're a sexist. You don't think that she's amazing, you're a misogynist, deep-seated misogyny. You don't want this ticket to win. Is it because Kamala Harris is black? Kinda. I feel like it is. It's because you're a racist. So they just needed her to do the thing.
So she brings up some interesting points there, because I've heard about the situation with Willie Brown. Willie Brown, former mayor of San Francisco, had a relationship with Kamala Harris when she was in her 20s or 30s. He was in his 60s and he was married. They were seen together quite often, and she was, as the Los Angeles Times says, she was shaped by the crucible of San Francisco politics. She was a young upstart, in the Bay Area, and she was attached to this guy as, I don't know, as a mentor or something. It's something about these lawyers, man. You can think about Fonnie Willis and how she went down with Nathan Wade, and, started off as a lawyer, a judge guiding a lawyer, and, trying to like give her advice, and then eventually she comes back to them, and then they have this relationship. There's a lot of that going on, but Candace Owens brings light to something that we've all known. In fact, Judge Joe Brown, I remember, was very clear about this and has stood steadfast about the Willie Brown thing. Of course, he's from California, and so he saw Kamala coming, you know what I mean? But the fact that she is the presumptive nominee in some ways, shout out to Judge Joe Brown and Dana.
She's been corrupt her whole life, and she f***ed her way to the top.
Oh, Lord.
They used to detail this witch in the LA Times with her sexual escapade, and she ain't black. Well, here's the thing. I actually met her father in Jamaica. I was the guest, sat at the Governor General's table, and he was a professor.
Okay.
And he represents as a Hindu Brahmin. He admittedly has some Irish in him. All right. The person that Kamala Harris is saying is her black great-grandmother is, in fact, according to Daddy, in an article he wrote, which has now been cleaned up on the online edition of that magazine, was a Hindu house servant, not a black woman. So her mother is listed on her birth certificate as Caucasian, even though she's dark. But see, she's a Hindu Brahmin Tamil caste. Now, interestingly, do you know what the anthropological name is for what Kamala Harris and her parents are?
No, sir.
Indo hyphen Aryan.
So yeah, Judge Joe Brown seems to be very familiar with Kamala Harris, obviously. Met her father and everything. So, you know, a lot of this stuff has been confirmed for years. We've been hearing this. And now this is what I tell you young ladies about your activities in your youth. You know, your promiscuity in your youth. You can't be like Drea and think that your wholeness is going to be deleted, because that thing is going to follow you. It'll follow you within inches of the White House. Now, people had left her alone because she was vice president. She seemed content. She was just kind of chilling. She wasn't doing much. You know, she was supposed to be working on the border, but, you know, look at the border now. Look what's happened with the border. That was her one job. You had one job while you were in the vice presidency, and that was to do it. And now everybody's putting their wholehearted effort behind her. And do you think that Donald Trump isn't going to really roast her on this? Roast her on a debate stage. Luckily, there's only 4 months left or 3 months left, you know, till November. But man, this is interesting, because now I wonder if she's ever going to, if you know, I saw polling all over the place. Saw the poll said she was ahead after the bump, after the surge of, you know, the announcement and the excitement. And then I heard that she was behind Trump. So there's no way of telling with conflicting stories out here. Obviously, they're putting their people in the street. They're putting their spin doctors out there so that they can come through and say that she is ahead and say that she is the right person for the job and that she's already got the delegates. But from what I heard Barack Obama say on his Medium, it sounded like he was thinking it was going to be an open convention, right? That not so fast. I don't know if this Kamala thing is happening, but I have seen people that were not necessarily in her corner that have now stepped up and endorsed her. So this is going to be a wild ride, man. 2024. The year of Cat Williams. The truth is coming out, right? Cat Williams set us off and we are rolling. It is rocky, man. But anyway, let me know what you think about it in the comments. If you like this video, like, comment, subscribe. Hit the bell notification for all uploads. If you want to watch more, please watch one of these videos down below. Make sure you sign up for my newsletter. The link is in the description. That way you can stay up to date on all things here at Faucette Media. This is Faucette Media.